It's unbelievable. What's up, guys? It's your girl Jeffrey with The Real Report with Jeffrey, live from my mama's house. We're doing something a little bit different tonight, okay? So if you are just joining us, welcome. What up? How's it going? Just a heads up, I just did a whole show and worked really hard, and the audio sounds not that great. And I'm just a little frustrated, It's like, what are we doing, guys? What are we doing? I guess I just wanted to share a little bit of life with you guys. I don't know. I feel like here's the weird thing about this whole, like, going live situation and, like, YouTube or whatever. It's so different from, like, the way that we have existed and, like, created content for the majority of which, like, television has been around, right? And now we have this, like, this crazy new medium. Also, say what up to Nino in the back. If you're watching the horizontal screen, then you can probably see my man right over there. Just give it up for Nino. Big round of applause to Nino. He's the man with the plan. We love you, little guy. Anyway, if you are, under the age of, like, I don't know, 30 or 25, I don't flipping know, then, like, you're probably used to this whole situation of, like, Gen Z or, like, going live or all this thing. But, like, it feels so weird because I feel like I'm at this age now where, like, things that used to be, like, cool and hip and, like, the ish that everybody was doing, it's not the ish no more. Right? Like, I have all this experience of, like, working in television and, like, being a producer and all this other ish. And I feel like it's outdated. Like, I just recorded this whole video. I totally took the video off the page because the audio sounds like trash. But I just recorded this whole video. And I feel like I can't even use it because the audio was trash. But it's like the way that I recorded things into a camcorder working for, major networks, that's not how people move anymore. Now it's like, literally you're the studio. And it's like, I'm grateful to exist at this place of, like, great change and, like, all these things happening. But it also feels very hard. And it also feels like, like, we are starting from scratch. We are literally having to start from scratch. And, like, I just want this to be encouraging to the young people because I just want y'all to know that, like, you are at the best place possible. And, like, I know the world seems, like, really crazy right now and, like, really messed up and, like, nothing really makes sense. Don't worry. That's just not young people. That's literally everyone. But I think that you have something really special that you should, like, cherish and develop of, like, you were born into this, right? Like, you're true to this. You're not new to this. Like, to everybody under the age of, like, what, like 18? How long has the iPad been around? Like 20 years, something like that? At least 15. Like, you grew up in this environment. You grew up in, like, a media saturated environment. So, like, you're used to this. You're used to having to, like, function and move in a way that, like, I feel like if you're over 30, you're, like, sometimes it's crazy. Like, and I don't think that that's exclusive to me. Like, I think what is happening is, like, we as a society and, like, technology is just evolving so quickly that, like, people are having a harder time keeping up with it, right? And I feel like, I don't remember if I read an article, if I was, like, listening to a story on NPR, consuming some media where, like, oh, look at Nino, he jumped off the desk, gang, gang. But I was consuming some meat, and also, this is Jeffrey, live from my mama's house. What's up? I'm Jeffrey. This is behind the scenes. I'm just keeping it cash with y'all, right? But, I feel like y'all are existing in this time where, like, everything moves so quickly, and, like, I was reading something or saw something and it said that, like, when you look at the space in which things have evolved or which things have changed in terms of technology, it's so much faster than what it used to be, right? Like, I can remember back in my day, like, just shut up. Back in my day, right, when I was in, like, elementary school, I was in middle school, whatever, we didn't even have internet. Like, internet was, like, legitimately not even a thing. Do you know how crazy that is? That you live in a world where, like, you didn't have internet. If you were trying to explain that to somebody today in, an industrialized nation, they will look at you like you had two heads. But that's what I grew up in. And I think, the time in which it took us to, like, get the internet and then, develop and evolve the internet. And then from the internet, it was like, now we're in AI. Like, it's such a shorter period of time. And so I think that, like, we as a people, we as a country are just having a hard time trying to keep up with that. And, like, it is what it is. But I guess I'm just voicing some of my frustrations because, I worked on that show earlier and the audio was trash, and I'm not putting out trash, you know? And I think, I don't know, I have to believe that, like, if you want to make the best art, if you want to do the best thing, if you want your ish to like pop and actually go somewhere, like you have to be, oh, can y'all see my feet? I hope not. You have to be open to being the best and doing the best. And like, I hope that's not something that is lost with this insane evolution of technology that we're all experiencing, right? Like, I hope that like people's ability to want to be great and to want to do great things and see great things, like I hope that's not lost. Because I think that with the evolution of technology, right, with all these things that are happening with AI and like with people having more resources now, is great, because I think that it allows the masses to have the ability to create things that they've never created and to touch and see things that they would otherwise not have access to, which like we love that. But I think what also happens is like you kind of start to have this like microwave technology, right? Like, have y'all heard of that? Like, if you've heard of that, drop a note in the chat, let me know. But it's this idea of like, because things are going so quickly, people don't really learn the way that they used to. They don't have the experience. I think it was either like Thomas Jefferson or like Franklin or somebody that talked about like you need 20,000 hours to get good at something. 20,000 hours. Nobody does anything for 20,000 hours now. It's like, if you can't learn it in 2 days or less, if you can't learn it in a workshop or weekend, I don't want it. Like, that's where we're at, right? Which I think is good, because then it means that you can learn all these skills and you could be an entrepreneur, but also a hairstylist, but also a scientist that does AI, and don't forget your art, right? You can do all these things that you wouldn't be able to do before. But now what ends up happening is, are you really, really good at one thing, right? Like, if you think about like George Washington Carver, shout out to the OG, right? Like, that man, he did so many things with peanuts. He did everything you could think of with peanuts, right? Which sounds stupid, but it just goes to show that he did one thing very, 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 very well and learned the ins and the outs in every way that he could. But I feel like we don't do that now, because it's like everybody has to have a bunch of things. Am I crazy? Can y'all please tell me if this is the case? Please let me know if you have seen this. So I just say that to say, like, you know, whether your thing is like music, or your thing is art, or your thing is like technology, or you're a gamer, or you're a streamer, or you just like consuming television, whatever your thing is, like, I just want to encourage people and encourage the world and get this message out here of like, be the best that you can be. Commit to a thing and never give up on it. Because I think what is happening now in our world is like, we are so fragmented, right? Like, we are so broken up in terms of our ability to just focus on one thing and get good at a thing and love a thing and develop a thing and feel for the thing and be vulnerable for the thing. I think because we're so split in so many different ways. Don't get me started if you got a family or you got kids, because I don't even know how y'all do it. I'm barely holding on with me and Nino, and that's a dog. But it's like, just give yourself the chance and the lane to do one thing really, really well. Give yourself the chance and the lane to like focus on one thing that you enjoy doing, and give the 20,000 hours and fail and be bad and be terrible and be cringy and post the cringe over and over and over, because I could be wrong, right? I could be totally dead wrong. But I do believe that the only way to get better at the thing, the only way to like make a difference and to not be ass, is to fail. But I think today, like, we're living in this culture with like, what's that man's name? What is his name? Please drop his name in the chat. I see him and I'm like, that's how I know I'm getting old. I'm like, what are we talking about, guys? But it's like, you have people like that where it's like, you know, looks maxing and like, you can't be ugly now. Is that what it is? Like, is that what it is, Nino? Can y'all see him? He's like my little co-host, my man. But it's like, is that what we're doing? Like, you can't be ugly. You can't be smart. You can't, you know, do other things. And that really kills me, because I feel like everybody doesn't have to be a hottie. Everybody doesn't have to be, you know, tail out, 6-pack abs, hair to your butt. And that's okay. It's okay if some people like to wear overalls and paint. It's okay if some people like to study bugs and have a coin collection. That's okay. I feel like the universe made us all so different and so special. And I wish that just for a second we could embrace that, and we could embrace who we are and not try to all have crazy BBLs or feel pressure to have like, huge lips or whatever the thing is. Like, I just wish that we could just embrace whatever your thing is, whether that's weird or whether that is quirky or you're a nerd or whatever your thing is. Just do your thing. You know what? Let's say that, okay? Drop a like if you agree with that. In 2026, I'm just getting over this cold, y'all. My bad. In 2026, do the thing that makes you happy. Do the thing that is the most you version of you. Welcome, everybody. I'm Jeffrey. This is The Real Report behind the scenes. I usually do a whole show where I talk about the news and do a deep dive. It's like Last Week Tonight meets Two Dope Queens, but we're not doing that right now. You know why? Because I recorded a whole show for literally 36 minutes tonight. I've spent so many hours, literally days, researching and writing and digging into like all of these different topics, and I recorded it, and the audio was trash. The audio sounded like I went back and I was listening to it. I was like, I can't even hear what I'm saying. And I just say that to say, I think that's the world that we're living in now. It was like, because we exist in a world where everybody has to do a million things. You can't just be a performer. You can't just be an editor. You can't just be a DP. You got to do everything. That's the only way that you can succeed, because we exist in this society where everything evolves so quickly and we're not able to just sit and take note and take account of like, where are we? Who am I? Am I happy? Am I connected? You just got to do that. I recorded a video with trash audio. So now we're doing BTS, and I'm going to tell you some things that I want you to know. And you know what? If there's something that you want me to know, if there's something that you want to share with me, then drop it in the chat. Okay? Let me know what you're thinking. Also, I have a co-host tonight. His name is Nino. He's a dog. I guess he's asleep now. I don't know. Good for him. Now, what I was saying is, I feel like back in the day, you could focus on one thing, right? Like back in the day, like let's take a look back in time. And I'm not the most, I'm not the smartest person in the room by any means, and I won't pretend to be for a second. But what I do know is that if you look back at history and you look at different figures throughout time, they had one thing that they did very, very well. For example, let's look at Madam C.J. Walker, okay? Literally, she was the Oprah before the Oprah, but she didn't have any weird ties with gross people, okay? She was about making money and getting people's hair looking fly, okay? That's what she did. And that's what she did. And she did that, and she was the best at that. And that's how she made her money. And that's how she grew a brand. And that's how she grew an empire, right? If you look at Thomas Edison, right? He invented the light bulb, or he, at the very least, made advances in the light bulb that people think he invented the light bulb. I think that he was the one that came up with that. Was it 10,000 hours rule? Somebody drop it in the chat. 10,000 hours rule, 20,000 hours rule. That was on him. He created that. You think if he had to go and be an influencer and also do looks maxing and also go to the gym, not for his own health, but so he could have abs, and also manage his social media and also manage his friends' social media, because that's how he makes his money, and also have his main job because that's how he has his health care. You think if he had to do all them things, we would have lights? We probably wouldn't. And I don't know what the answer to that is. I don't know what the solve for that is. There might not be a solve, guys. We might just be so far gone as a society and as humanity that we can never return to a time where we could connect with who we are as humans, where we could connect with who we are as the thing that brings us peace, the things that bring us happiness. We might be too far gone past that, okay? But I do fear that we have to figure out a way to get back to that, because I think that is who we are in our essence. I think that is who we are as beings on this planet, as we connect with ourselves and with each other. We have to get back to that. And as long as we are in this crazy sorry guys, I'm just getting over a cold. As long as we are in this crazy nonstop rat race in which we're just running and chasing a million different things, I don't know if we're ever going to get back to that. And I don't know how we're going to get back to that. Does anybody have any ideas? If you have any ideas as to how we can get back to that as a society, as a humanity, as a species, drop it in the chat. And that'll be the next episode of The Real Report, live with Jeffrey from my mama's house. I will investigate how we can get back to our humanity. Because right now, when I turn on the TV, when I turn on the news, when I just open up my Instagram, it feels like we are all so far gone from where we started that it is scary. Does anybody else feel like that? Does anybody else just sit and look at where we are and what's happening in the world and what's going on? And you're just like, yo, get me off this ride. Like, honestly and truly, get me off this ride, because it just feels like things just go faster and faster and we can't stop it. Y'all ever watch that show Euphoria? I'm going to pivot for a little bit because this is a great example. If you watch Euphoria, drop a little like in the chat. Let me know you watching, because that's an important point, okay? I feel like that show is crazy, but I think that it's reflective. Excuse me, y'all. I'm getting over this cold. I think that is reflective of where we are and who we are, of like, you know, it's like, yeah, they're supposed to be in high school or freshly out of high school, but it just seems like their lives be going so fast. But I don't think that that's exclusive to the show, because when I think about people that I know or people that I come in contact with, definitely people, if you're in a major city, drop it in the chat. If you're in Atlanta, if you're in New York, if you're in Houston, if you're in LA, if you're in Chicago, Detroit, if you are in a major city, you know that the show Euphoria is at least somewhat reflective of your life. Now, I'll give you this. If you got black parents or at least a black mom, then that might not be your life in full, because she's not going to play that. But at the very least, I'm sure you got a couple of white friends that are like, yeah, that's what they be doing on the weekends. And I don't know how to feel about that, because I think to some extent, I think it's good that young people have these experiences where they can be like, you know, fully integrated into society, where they can be fully integrated into what is happening and what is new and what is now and what is next. I think that's generally good, because I think we have to create a generation of young people that are prepared for all of the craziness and the unhingedness and frankly the scary-ish that they will have to deal with. But I also think that you got to let kids be kids, right? Like, you got to let young people go outside and touch grass. I don't remember if I was reading something or saw something, and it was saying that like a lot of kids these days are depressed, right? Like, a lot of kids are dealing with a lot of mental health issues. And I'm sure some of that, you know, obviously it's like environmental factors play into that. And then it's, you know, nature versus nurture. No doubt. I'm not going to act like I'm a psychologist, because I'm not. But what I do know is we are all connected to nature. We are all connected to this planet in a way that I cannot articulate. Okay. But what I know is if you are not able to just go outside and go for a walk and be in nature, then it affects your mental health, right? Like, if you can read any book on psychology and they say one of the reasons why you should go outside and take a walk, it's not so you can, you know, be slim thick. It's so you can connect with nature, right? Like, my man over here, Nino, if he doesn't go outside in a certain like number of times, he will lose his mind. And it's like that for a lot of animals. Sometimes they just want to go outside and sniff the air. But I think that because we are, you know, bipedal, because we stand upright and we can type and we have thumbs, sometimes we forget that we need to go outside and touch grass too. And let's be real, okay? I'm going to be so real with y'all. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I just love to camp and I'm an outdoorsy girl, because I am not, okay? I do not want to be outside in the elements for more than a certain period of time. However, I can acknowledge and I can totally agree that in certain circumstances, it's good to be outside. It's good to be in nature. It's good to do those things, because I think it helps you connect with who you are and your essence as a human, which is always good, right? Like, let's not act like that's not a thing, because it is. Anyway, I feel like I've been on here for, I don't know how long it's been. It's been a good amount of time, but it was really good just, I think, talking and venting about everything that happened with that show and how frustrating it was to put in all that time and all that energy and all that work into, you know, putting together that show. And then the audio sucked, guys. Like, and it's just like, I can't tell you how frustrating that is. It just feels like you just try and you try and things don't work out. But I think, you know, it's like we were talking about earlier. I think it's the 10,000 rule, you know, and I think that's the thing that I think that's the note that I want to leave on with y'all is like, we do live in a society where, you know, it feels like you have to do so much and it feels like you have to try and do, and like there's so much work to get to the good part, right? But like I don't think that means that you should give up. I don't think that means that you should stop. I think that means that you should go harder. And I think, I don't remember if I read this or where I saw it, but like it was talking about how sometimes like you know that you're on the right track or you should be doing a certain thing. Guys, I'm so sick. I feel terrible. I'm gonna get better. But it says that you know you should be doing a certain thing based off of the resistance that you get, right? Like based off of like how much force is being pushed against you. And I think there's a lot of truth in that. I think if something, something my mama said that, I'm telling you, black moms, gang, y'all are the best. Something that my mama said that like really resonates with me that I'll always keep in the front of my mind is like, if it were easy, everybody would be doing it. I don't care if you're talking about buying a house. I don't care if you're talking about, learning to ride a bike or learning a different language or working on yourself or developing a show. If it were easy, everybody could do it. And it's very, very hard sometimes. And more often than not, you will be met with resistance more than you are met with, oh, this is so easy. Oh my gosh. You're going to be met with resistance. Also, I feel like I can't believe how bad my posture is right now. I got to sit up. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching tonight. The Real Report live from my mama's house with Jeffrey. This is some BTS. It's unedited. It's uncut. I'm just sharing what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling with you guys because this day has been rough. But like I said, take care of yourselves. And no matter how fast the world moves, no matter how like uncertain it feels, like focus on your mission. We are on this planet for a mission. We're on this planet for a reason. And I have to believe that it's to do better, it's to make the world better, even if that's just loving people. You just move in a way with love and with kindness. Or you are sent here to plant plants, I don't know. Or you're sent here to help animals, or you're sent here to make technological advances. Like always do it with a good heart and a positive mind and never give up. And I'm honestly, I feel like I'm just telling y'all that so I don't give up, because this whole mic thing, every week I've been doing this show and I've had a different problem with this mic, but it's frustrating and confusing because the mic, y'all listen to this. That's just, that sounds like butter. It sounds so good, but I have so many issues with it because the mute button is at the top and I don't know. There's so many things that I could tell you as to why it doesn't work, but have a good night. I love you guys. I'm going to be going live tomorrow morning. I'm going to redo the episode that I meant to get out today, but the audio is trash. So we're going to be going live with that again tomorrow in the morning. If you're around, come through. I think we'll probably do maybe like 10, like get it out nice and early. I'll see when the majority of my followers are on and I'll push it out then. Come back if you got anything. I hope you did. Let me know if there's something you want me to research and look into for the next episode of The Real Report. And I love you guys. Stay safe. Take care of yourself. Bye.